All right, on to the next story. So, on to the next story. This one was a super, super interesting one, and I really want to talk about it and sort of understand it a little bit better. SpaceX, okay? SpaceX has launched another batch of Starlink satellites, but it missed its rocket landing coming down. I don't really care about it missing its rocket landing. It actually kind of adds to what I'm going to talk about here. I just, in general, want to talk about my thoughts for why I think SpaceX needs to be commended as such an unbelievably important company. It's really important for people to recognize that most people in the world complain about shit and they don't do anything about what they're complaining about, including myself, right? Everyone does. There are very few individuals who are like, yo, there's a problem and I'm going to solve it. And I'm going to really try hard to solve it. And I was watching a documentary on SpaceX the other day, and I think it's just important to convey the fact that Elon Musk is a visionary, and he tried to launch SpaceX, or the rockets that were necessary in order for SpaceX to succeed, 3 times. I think this was like 2012 or something. All of them failed. They flopped, right? They didn't take orbit. They got screwed up. Which means in the documentary it said he had one more chance left, right? Like on the 4th try, if that one didn't succeed, they were going out of business. They weren't getting any more money. They weren't going to be able to raise more funds. He had already invested like 55 or 100 million of his own money into the company. He used everything that he made off PayPal and all of his other big tech companies. So Tesla wasn't the thing that it was back in 2012. So it was all or nothing on this 4th launch. And that 4th launch worked. And they got a contract the next day from NASA for like $1.5 billion to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. That, to me, highlights the fact that it is unbelievably amazing that there's been only really a couple companies, and SpaceX being the biggest one, that has tried to conquer the outside world of space, and that has come so close to failure and ultimately ended up finding some level of success. The take that I'm trying to get at here is that we try to demonize, people for like we try to we complain way too much as a species about the shit that's wrong, and we blame all these like artificial things versus recognizing that trying to solve things is much more difficult than trying to just complain about things. So there's not a lot of internet in different parts of the world. What is the point of SpaceX launching Starlink? It's so that high speed quality internet can be circulating down from satellites that are part of the Starlink process across the entire planet, and it can beam it down into the places that don't have the urban infrastructure that New York or LA has. So places in Africa, places in India, things of that nature that can actually get high speed quality internet. Why does that matter? Because the internet is the information superhighway that has led to extreme amounts of opportunity for everybody over the past 10, 15 years. And when I mean everybody, I mean the people who have had access to the internet. Like, if you don't have access to the internet is a human right, in my opinion. The internet has become so unbelievably powerful in today's day and age that being guaranteed access to the internet matters. Like, it absolutely, and governments need to recognize that is the framework for people to be able to build opportunity for themselves that allows them to start their own little business or create their own content or gain access to information that they don't have to pay thousands of dollars for. It's all there on the internet. So for the places that don't have the internet because of technological infrastructure that does not exist in those places, SpaceX is trying to solve that problem. And to me, that's something that, that's a good thing. Like, that is a good thing. Objectively, it is a good thing. Launching those satellites up in the air when you were that close to failing and being bankrupt as a company needs to be commended. It needs to be seen as something that's inspiring. It does not need to be demonized. It needs to be understood as like a company or as a group of people that have an idea, have a vision, that are actually trying to execute it. They fail a bunch of times, and then there's a little bit of luck involved, but they try again and it works. And that sets the foundation for them to be able to do all these other amazing things. That's the story of Tesla, right? Like, they're trying to advance a world that does not use vehicles, which are the main contributor to climate change, to go away. And they have normalized electric vehicles to the point where GM just announced that they're going to have all electric vehicles by 2035. I mean, like, that's ridiculous. That's only 14 years from now. All electric vehicles, that's imagine if the world was all electric by 2030. I mean, that would take insane amounts of work over the next 10 years. But if that happens, I mean, like, Tesla is the reason that happened. If Tesla never did anything, these companies have no incentive to go electric because they didn't have the vision or the audacity to actually change their business models. So the reason I want to talk about this is because this is just an absolutely amazing accomplishment by SpaceX. They've launched 50 Starlink satellites, I think last year, or 60 of them. That they launched just another group of them. SpaceX is not public yet, and the reason it's not able to go public is because it's very hard for a company to maximize returns. Like, it's not as easy to understand if you're going to get return for your money by investing in SpaceX, because a lot of missions can fail, whereas like Tesla and cars is a little bit different. Again, you're dealing with space. So it's not public yet. It's still privately held. But if it does go public, I think Elon Musk's brand that he carries, the equity of that brand and what he's been able to do with Tesla, I think he's going to be able to rally a bunch of people to believe in SpaceX and just invest and trust and have faith in the company that they will get a return, even if it's not immediate. And, you know, when we're dealing with space, it's just very important to understand that it's space. Like, we don't know what's out there. Like, it's very hard for us to predict and understand what's out there. And for someone actually trying to tackle it, you know, it's not like you're on the ground and you can understand physics. No, you're in space, bro. Like we're in space. And for someone to build a company that's actually trying to put stuff in space that actually helps other people, to me, that's inspiring. And for the people who don't see the inspiration in that, it's just like, okay, like that, your perspective on the world is so unbelievably minuscule for you to not find inspiration or just like be in wonder of how someone could have an idea to execute that and actually do that. It's an amazing thing. And I think it needs to be understood like that. And I would like to know your comments and your thoughts on that. Am I looking too much into it? Am I like thinking too deep about it? Ultimately, I think that there's not that many people solving these problems. A lot of governments aren't really doing it. You need people who are innovating. You need people who are thinking outside the box, who are doing things differently. That is the objective answer. There is no other answer. It's not like stop this, stop that. No, it's like it's move forward and figure it out. And I think SpaceX is doing that, which is incredibly important to me.